Part 5 The Sunset. By April of 1865, the war was ending. Lee's army was surrounded. The rivers of blood that had flowed for 4 years were finally beginning to dry, and Abraham Lincoln, for perhaps the first time in his presidency, allowed himself to hope. Those who saw him in those final days remarked on the change. The deep lines in his face seemed softer. His laughter came easier. He spoke of the future, of what he and Mary might do when his term ended. Travel, perhaps. Return to Illinois. Watch their surviving sons grow into men. For 4 years, he had not dared to think beyond the next battle, the next crisis, the next list of the dead. Now, suddenly, there was a future to imagine, a life after war, a chance to rest. He had a dream. He told his cabinet, a few nights before the end. He was on a ship, moving rapidly toward a distant shore. He had dreamed it before, he said, always before some great event. He did not know what it meant, but he felt it was significant. A ship moving toward a distant shore. Perhaps his mind was already preparing him for a journey he could not yet understand. On the morning of April 14, 1865, Lincoln woke in better spirits than he had known in years. The war was won, the Union preserved, slavery ended. Everything he had fought for, everything he had sacrificed, had been achieved. He met with his cabinet that morning, discussed plans for reconstruction, spoke of reconciliation with the South. Let 'em up easy, he said. No vengeance, no punishment, just healing. He took a carriage ride with Mary in the afternoon. They talked about the future, about traveling to Europe, about seeing California, about all the years that lay ahead, finally free from the weight of war. We must both be more cheerful in the future, Lincoln told her. Between the war and the loss of our darling Willie, we have both been very miserable. More cheerful in the future. He was making plans. He was daring to hope. After all those years of darkness, he was finally allowing light to enter. That evening, they went to Ford's Theater to see a play called Our American Cousin. Lincoln did not particularly want to go. He was tired, but Mary wanted an evening out, and he could not refuse her. After everything she had suffered, he could not deny her this small pleasure. The play was a comedy. Lincoln laughed. For those few hours, surrounded by laughter and normalcy and a simple joy of entertainment, he was not the president. He was just a man, a tired man, a man who had earned a night of rest. You know what happened next. Everyone knows. A bullet, a leap to the stage, a cry of sic semper tyrannis, and the slow walker finally stopped walking. He never regained consciousness. He died the next morning, April 15, 1865, at 7:22 a.m. He was 56 years old. Secretary of War Edwin Stanton stood by the bedside. As Lincoln's breathing stopped, Stanton spoke words that have echoed through history. Now he belongs to the ages. The ages. Not to his family, not to his friends, not even to his country. To the ages. To everyone who would ever live after him. To everyone who would ever struggle with darkness, and wonder if it was worth continuing. He belongs to you. Lincoln had been president for 4 years and 41 days. He had held the nation together through its greatest crisis. He had ended slavery. He had given his last full measure of devotion, and the depression that had haunted him since childhood, the darkness that had followed him from Indiana to Illinois to Washington, that darkness never lifted while he lived. It was with him to the end, part of him, inseparable from the man he was. But here is what I want you to take from this story. what I hope you will carry with you long after these words end. Lincoln's life was not a victory over sadness. It was not a triumph of positive thinking. It was not a story about defeating your demons and living happily ever after. It was a story about carrying your demons with you, walking forward even when darkness walks beside you, finding purpose and meaning not despite suffering, but somehow, mysteriously, through it. Lincoln's melancholy was not a flaw to overcome. It was part of what made him Lincoln. It gave him empathy for the suffering of others, humility before his own limitations, the depth to understand national tragedy, because he had known tragedy all his life. His wound became his gift. And so I say to you, whoever you are, wherever you are, your scars are not shameful. Your struggles are not failures. The darkness you have carried perhaps for years, perhaps for decades, is not a sign that you are broken. It is a sign that you are human. You have walked through things that should have stopped you, survived losses that should have crushed you. You are here, now, hearing these words, which means you have not stopped walking. That is not weakness. That is strength of the highest order. The same strength that carried Abraham Lincoln from a cold cabin in Indiana to the White House. The strength to keep moving, one slow step at a time, even when every step hurts. I am a slow walker, but I never walk back. Neither do you. Neither have you, and neither will you, for as many steps as remain. Perhaps you are tired. Perhaps you have carried your burden so long, you have forgotten what it felt like to stand straight. Perhaps you wonder, some nights, if continuing is worth the effort. It is worth it, not because the path gets easier. It may not. Not because the darkness lifts. It may not. But because every step you take matters. Every day you continue is a victory. Every breath is proof that you are stronger than whatever tried to break you. You are not alone in this. Lincoln walked this path before you. Millions have walked it since. And somewhere, right now, someone else is taking the same difficult step you are taking, drawing strength from the same mysterious source. Refusing, as you refuse, to walk back. The sun set on Abraham Lincoln on an April night in 1865. But the light he carried, the light that came from his very darkness, that light still shines. It shines in everyone who keeps going when giving up would be easier. In everyone who transforms their pain into compassion. In everyone who walks slowly, walks in darkness, but never walks back. May that light shine for you. In your hardest hours, in your longest nights, may you remember that a sad man from the wilderness once carried the weight of a nation, and that you, too, can carry whatever weight you bear. We are all slow walkers. We are all wounded. We are all, in our different ways, walking through darkness toward a distant shore. But we do not walk back. We do not give up. We do not let the darkness win. This is Lincoln's legacy, not the marble monument, not the face on the penny, but this simple truth, learned through a lifetime of suffering. You can bear more than you think you can. You can walk further than you think you can. And the very thing that wounds you most deeply may become, in time, the source of your greatest gift. Walk slowly if you must, but never walk back. Thank you for listening.